John Ronald Tolkien was born on January 3rd, 1892, in Bloemfontein, South Africa, firstborn of two English colonies from Birmingham. The British rural landscapes of his childhood and the farmers who lived there greatly inspired the creation of the Shire and the Hobbits, protagonists of his most famous works. Tolkien's passion, who will be fundamental for his books, are the ancient fairy tales, foreign languages, and the conversion from Anglicanism to Catholicism. When his mother died, Tolkien's education was entrusted by Father Francis Morgan. Tolkien continued his education in Birmingham, showing an extraordinary predisposition for languages which allowed him to become fluent in Latin, Greek, Finnish, and Gothic. In this period, he began creating a new language, the fairy language, which he refined over time. Thanks to a scholarship obtained in 1911, he went to Exeter College in Oxford, where he obtained the Bachelor of Arts in 1915. He founded a society which was named after the members' habit of drinking tea in the college library, the TCBS, Tea Club and Barrovian Society. Here, Tolkien made his first literary attempts, writing many poems. In 1921, he became professor of literature at Leeds University, and in 1925 became professor of Anglo-Saxon philology at Pembroke College in Oxford. His beloved wife, Edith, died aged 82 in November 1971. His husband followed shortly after on September 2, 1973, at the age of 81, while he was visiting some friends. Tolkien wrote many books, among which The Hobbit, The Children of Húrin, The Dragon Hunter, The Adventure of Tom Bombadil, but his most successful work was renowned trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. It was written between 1937 and 1949 and was translated into at least 38 languages with many re-releases. It is widely acknowledged as one of the most popular literary works of the 20th century. We will take into account the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring. The book opens with a description of Bilbo Baggins, a 111-year-old hobbit who is getting ready to celebrate in grand style his birthday. His cousin Frodo, orphaned since his birth, has been living with him for 12 years. On the night of his birthday, Bilbo disappears in a flash in front of everyone. All he did was slip the magic ring off his finger, the ring he had inadvertently taken from a malicious and dangerous creature, Gollum. Now, Frodo has inherited the house, and Gandalf, before leaving, warns him never to use the ring, no matter the reason. After 17 years, Gandalf comes back and tells Frodo the real story of the ring, which was passed on to him. It is the One Ring of Sauron, the Dark Lord, the enemy of all people in the Middle-earth. Forged by Sauron himself in the Fire Mountain, the Horror-Ring, the ring gave him absolute power over every other people. But Sauron had lost it in a great battle against the King of Men of Gondor, Isildur, who had managed to separate the ring from Sauron by cutting off his finger, rendering the enemy a mere shadow. He started growing and plotting, wishing above all to get his ring back and with it the power over Middle-earth. The only thing Gandalf can tell Frodo to do is to leave the Shire under false name, bringing with him Samwise Gamgee, his trust gardener and no one else, and to take the road which will lead to the realm of Elrond, the half-elf, Lord of Rivendell. Along the way, we also meet Meriadoc and Peregrine Took, known as Pippin, friends of the young Baggins. After many misadventures, they get to the Prancing Pony in the city of Brea, inhabited by men and hobbits, to spend the night and meet Gandalf, but is not there. Watching them is a tall and hooded man, severe in look, whom the innkeeper called Strider, one of the forgotten rangers from the north. His true name is Aragorn, and it will lead the hobbits to Rivendell. Here, a council is set up, with the aim of forming the Fellowship of the Ring, to lead the ring-bearer to the Mount Doom, where it shall destroy it for good. Frodo volunteers as bearer. After his decision is approved, the elders order that Frodo be accompanied by a member of each race in the Middle-earth. Apart from Gandalf, whose knowledge is essential to his crucial challenge to Sauron, Aragorn and Boromir for men, Legolas for the elves, and Gimli for the Dwarves will accompany him. Besides Sam, Merry, and Pippin will come on behalf of the Hobbit. After many kilometers, the Fellowship gets to the mysterious realm of the elves, where a powerful dame rules, Queen Galadriel. They stay in Lothlorien for a month. Then they leave again for the Mount Doom. In 2001, filmmaker Peter Jackson made a film out of this book, The Fellowship of the Ring, with an exceptional cast with actors such as Elijah Wood as Frodo Baggins, Ian McKellen as Gandalf, Orlando Bloom as Legolas, and Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn, and with the spectacular soundtrack by Canadian composer Howard Leslie Shore, the filmmaker created a real masterpiece, staying as faithful to the book as possible. The biggest differences between book and film are: in the film, the story of how Isildur obtains the ring is shown at the beginning of the film, whereas in the book Gandalf narrates it along with the meaning of the ring. In the film, Tom Bombadil is not present, nor is Gandalf's letter, which Cactagio, the innkeeper, forgets to give Frodo, and Glorfindel is replaced by Arwen. In the book, when Frodo runs towards the boat, there is no fight afoot, as shown in the film. The Fellowship is merely looking for him. The fight begins when Sam and Frodo are already in the boat, and the dialogue between Frodo and Aragorn is made up by Jackson. Another huge difference is that Boromir dies in the Two Towers. In the film, he dies in the Fellowship of the Ring. Although the film is a masterpiece with beautiful settings, terrific actors, and fantastic soundtrack, the book is herald of fantasy because it makes it possible for the reader to dive into the long description and dialogues, which this literary genius was able to create holding just a pen.